We're live. Hello, everyone. Super happy to be back. Hello, Stu. So good to see you.
Hey, yeah, it's been a long summer. It's been a long summer. Where did it go? Where did the summer go?
Oh, true, man. It's been too long. Really, really too long. I'm super happy to see you. How have you been, Stu? Your summer? How was your summer?
Oh, it was great. I got away to Turkey, which was really nice. Got a bit of Mediterranean Sea, a bit of Turkish food, a bit of Turkish culture. That was awesome.
Nice.
Um, I've got a baby on the way. That's big news.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, hey guys, welcome. Paddle always here. Hey guys, I'm sitting in the car listening to the music and dancing. So happy, uh, like coming back to my family. Was missing you so much, such as something to see you. Thank you so much, Paddle. Paul, take care. Yes, it's been a long time as well. I went back to France since 5 years. I didn't go back home. Can you imagine since COVID? And that was awesome. So it took me a while to come back to the reality back in September, and then back with the students. You got to get ready. It's really difficult to juggle with social media and teaching because it's very important to pay attention to your students. Uh, it's the most important job, of course. And today, I would like to say a special. I would like to wish my best wishes. I'm gonna go in French because it's my mom's birthday, so I'm gonna say Bon anniversaire, maman. A little bit of French to change. Bon anniversaire, maman. Plein d'amour à toi. Et pourvu que tu restes en santé, bonne santé. Et puis, buvez pas trop quand même. Hein? Don't drink too much
wow,
because I know
I will
it's
do that.
noon. They are with the red wine and all stuff. So I
Mike,
guess we're going to have good
Mike,
fun.
where is home for you in France? Where's your hometown? It'll be nice for everyone to know, I think.
Yeah, well, my hometown is it's we're gonna say between Bordeaux and Cognac. Two places where, like my father say, we never die of being thirsty back there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we thirsty. There's no way. No, my dad is. We are all from a little village. The village where I live, it's a special name. It's called Tezezi. Uh, so I think it's a Latin name, which means where the where they can cross the river easily. The rivers there are not very deep. There's an old Roman pont, Roman, I said pont in French means bridge. There's an old Roman bridge there. And yeah, so that's so very close to Bordeaux. So red wine and cognac, brandy. So, and you, I'm
Sounds good
sure
to me.
everybody would like to know as well.
You can take me there one day, Mike, and I'll bring my glass with me.
Oh, yes. Bring your, like a big, what is it
Your
called?
bucket.
Bucket. Yes, that's it. I was looking for another one, another huge bucket. Cool. So, how about you, Stu, for everybody as well to know where you're from?
Yeah, so I'm from Brighton, just from Brighton, but I moved from Brighton. It's on the southeast coast of England. It's very famous for learning languages, lots of language schools in Brighton. And I live just outside now in a place called Seaford. Really beautiful. Lots of it's, you might have seen the famous white cliffs in Seaford.
Yes.
And so if any people are watching, you're very welcome to come. My treat, I'll take you out.
Without problem. Love to go. I went to England when I was 11 years old. I stayed there for a good 2 weeks with a British family, and that was awesome. One thing that was quite that surprised me is that the family cooked us rabbit.
Okay, it's quite unusual
Yeah,
to have it in England, actually.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
for people who don't know, they said that yeah, we used to go to France. We like to go there, and then we cook rabbits, and we learned how to cook the rabbit. So that was funny.
that's
That
cool.
was quite
Actually
impressive. I had
I
an
did the
always
same
good
thing.
time there.
Yeah, I did the
Good
same thing when
memories.
I was learning French. I went to a place called Esson, which is I
Oh,
guess
it's
about
on. Yeah.
50 kilometers or 100 kilometers south of Paris or something. And I stayed with a really nice family. And I still have really great memories of that family, 30 years on. Yeah, really, really nice.
Okay, no, it's good. All right. Excellent introduction, Flo. Maria Marque, welcome. Yeah, you guys having fun there, huh? Be careful to mom. That she don't get drunk too much. At her age, she's 74 years old. So it's time to be, All right. Merci, Flo. All right, cool. De rien, maman. All right. Thank you, everyone. Feel free today. We're going to be talking. Wait. It's been a long time. I didn't use this platform, so it's going to take me time. But thank you, everyone, for being here today. Of course, we're going to be talking about blended learning with Stu. So it's a very interesting subject with AI coming in with a lot of awesome tools that you can find online. Today, we're going to be talking about this. We're going to go through what is branded learning. Maybe for some of you, you don't really know what it means. Then we'll see the pros and cons, and maybe as well how to use it in your class. With Stu, we'll try to help you. So feel free to leave your questions so that if you get questions, even if it's not according to the subject, maybe, sometimes people coming in here like emergency. Oh, I need help. You're very welcome. It's not because we have a topic today that whatever the problem you get in your class, we are here to help you.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. We can definitely go off topic. It's very flexible. This is your time. So all of the people that have come here to the live, we're all teachers, right? We're here to help each other, and hopefully myself and Mike can guide you and teach you something new and help you.
Exactly. So I got ready a little not PPT. That's pretty much a presentation to keep it everything. We don't forget some important points. So we're going to be talking about the blended learning, which is combining tradition and technology, right?
Yep, that's it. So it's actually quite hard to define. Actually, it's
And
there's lots of people out there who try to explain what blended learning is, and it's very difficult to define the concept of what it is. But that essentially, it's a mixture of face time in the classroom with your teacher, with time away from the teacher with some kind of device where or a time when the students learning by themselves, and you can blend those two together to get some really awesome results. So that's what blended learning is.
great. Like here on the side say hybrid approach, which combines traditional classroom teaching with digital learning. It's also flexible learning, right? Because students can learn partly in person, but they can also partly through digital platform, right?
Yeah, so like Asynchronous learning. So synchronous learning is like when you're all learning, it's synchronized, you're all at the same time. So you go to school at 9 o'clock, you have your English class
Yeah.
at 10 a.m. This is synchronized. And then you go home, maybe you have an online lecture at 8 p.m. Again, this is synchronized. But asynchronous learning is when students learn at their own pace and at their own time. And it's super handy. You know, we're all busy people. You might be an adult learner who's a dad or a mum. You've got a job. You've got to get dinner ready. And you've got to fit your learning around those things. So this is asynchronous learning. And this is why blended learning is so successful in today's world, because we're all really busy, and it helps people to learn on the go.
Great. So, as well, which is about blending learning, something it's engaging experience, right? It's usually something that really engage your students because it integrates online content like activities and also assessments. So it has an engaging experience too.
Yeah, I mean, actually, our lives as teachers can often be very different to the lives of our students. Like students are, you know, they're playing Call of Duty, they're on their phone all of the time, they're on like TikTok videos, and how they live their lives is very different to how teachers live their lives. And sometimes teachers can be very distant from their students in understanding how students can learn or what they like to learn. So blended learning gives an opportunity for teachers to bridge that gap so that students can learn in a way that appeals to them. And like you say, Mike, it's more engaging. And you can move, like assessment is so important to do assessment, but you know, we can actually move away from like, is the answer A, B, C, or D in a classroom situation? We can assess in so many different and innovative ways, if I can get that out. And blended learning, you know, lends itself to that as well. Excellent engagement and excellent assessment.
And as well, we have the flipped classroom. So it's of course part of the blended learning, and so blended classroom is quite. I mean, it's a way to use that technology, right? How to use that, pretty much, right?
Yeah. So flipped learning is a type of blended learning, but it's not the same thing. They're different things.
Yeah.
So essentially, flipped learning. Let's say, Mike, you're teaching me French. Okay, I've forgotten all of my French. You might say to me before the class, let's say we're about to start a module on food, and you're going to teach me food in French. Now, before the Monday, you might set me homework on the weekend, say, right, Stu, download a French menu and try to learn the vocab items on the vegetable section. Try to learn some vocabulary on the dessert section. So I'm learning by myself. Then on Monday, I go to your class and you teach me food, and I've already got this knowledge that I've looked at, I've taught myself, and then you go over it again with me, and this is flipped learning. So the learning flips. So it's a type of blended learning where I'm doing it by myself at home, potentially with a digital device, a laptop, a tablet, whatever, but the learning is flipped. So that when I come to your class, Mike, you teach me French about food, and I get it much faster than if I go in cold into your class and I've never learned anything before about that.
Thank you for your question. Here we can see that GF is saying the problem with some of the digital students can yet they advance to next level. Yeah, AI it's still not for pronunciation, of course, it's you really need a teacher for that. But there are some platforms that are not doing. They
Yeah,
they're doing better and better for
yeah.
this kind of pronunciation.
This is
And it's incredible the speed it's changing so fast.
Yeah, that this is something very close to my heart, and actually, there are apps out there that can help your pronunciation. Because when I did my masters in applied linguistics, and
You know it.
one of the modules I had to write was how to use technology for an area of teaching. So I focused on an app to improve pronunciation for low-income families. So these low-income families, they couldn't afford a teacher, they couldn't afford online classes, they couldn't afford to send their kids to these a class, but they could download a cheap app. And there's amazing apps out there. There's a Chinese one called Liuli Shuo that I particularly looked at.
Really sure, yeah.
Liuli Shuo, yeah, like fluent speaking, right, in Chinese.
Yeah,
And
really sure.
Liuli Shuo, check it out. It's really,
Yeah.
it's blow you away. And they use machine learning to listen to your pronunciation, and they can compare it to different English speakers, native English speakers, and you can get a score. So very, very clever stuff that's coming out.
Yeah, we get Abidjan who's asking in the flip learning, students are active participants, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So the learners have autonomy. They're given autonomy over their own learning. So they go away and they are given a task that the teacher has made. For example, check out a menu. It could be watch a video, write your feelings about this particular topic from this video, listen to this podcast, whatever. So the students are given autonomy over their own learning and how they approach that task. They can then go into the teacher on the Wednesday or the Thursday or whatever, and then the teacher can guide them through and then discuss what they've learned and what they picked up. So it gives students control over their learning. You have to be careful, obviously. Some students learn better than others, and guidance will need to be given. You need to guide your students to understand, especially if they've never done flip learning before. There's every chance that they won't do the task, and then they come into your class, a real face-to-face class, and so they're unprepared. So they need some type of training, but after a few weeks, they get it. Normally they're on board with it, and you can. And it's very successful.
Someone was asking, can you type it? Is it the you were talking earlier about the Chinese app, which is Liuli Shuo, right? Is it the because someone is asking for how to write it? I guess it's in Pinyin. Maybe the
Yeah,
website
so in Pinyin,
might be
you've done it correctly.
Liuli Shuo, maybe. I'm gonna check
Yeah,
out the
and it's all
yes,
AI.
really sure. I get it.
All
I
AI.
think I get that one.
Yeah, and it's very clever.
Yeah.
So what they do, you answer question number one. It will be something very simple, just in case you're at A1 level, and your response and your speed of the response dictates the difficulty of question two. So let's say you get the right answer and you answer it quickly, with little thinking time. Question two will be harder. And if you get that correct with little thinking time, then question three will be more difficult. And I remember when I tested it, after question 8, I was answering questions about nuclear radiation and stuff. I was like, wow, that is really clever that the AI has realized that I'm a very proficient and a C2 speaker, and has now given me really difficult questions.
connection always a little bit. Yeah. Okay, let's go then. Let me see. What do we get here? I can get rid of the message now, but it doesn't matter. Yeah. So flipped learning is kind of a that you can I mean, it's also a kind of preview.
Yeah, yeah,
They preview the vocabulary, the dialogue, then they go when you get class, so the kids already know what it's going to happen. It's going to be maybe easier for them, especially if you want to focus on the oral part of your
yeah,
class. If you want them to practice orally, so they already know a part of the vocabulary, so that they can practice more the sentences or role play during class, which is really cool. That can be an example
yeah.
of how to use flipped learning for that.
Yeah, you're maximizing time. So you don't have to, let's say you've got an hour for your class, you've maximized your time. You don't have to lead in as
Yeah.
you don't have to set the context, because you've already done that already, because you've already given a task for the students to go away and prepare beforehand. You can really get straight into it. So you're really maximizing your time. And also by giving the task before, and then when the students come in, you can actually see the students' work, and you can identify areas of weakness in your students as well. So that helps formative assessment, and it makes more for personalized learning. So you can spend a little bit more time with the students that have struggled, because you can see it, you have the evidence in front of you. Yeah, it's very, very cool. Yeah, if you're a teacher out there listening to this and you haven't tried flipped learning yet, give it a go. I did it in my last teaching job in China. We were learning about fair trade and how some companies rip off farmers. So I set a task about fair trade. I made a video that students had to watch. And then when we came into the classroom, the students were ready and they were engaged and they were excited to learn more.
Yeah, they already knew about the topic. It's quite cool because kids can start to think about it and try to even get more engaged into it. They will be more interesting. Like you said, they had a lot of fun. They wanted to know more.
Yeah, they were super excited, and they'd never done anything like this before. These Chinese students, they'd never had done this before. So yeah, they needed more guidance, but they were super charged about it because it was something new, it was novel, and it really worked. And I could see that their scores for that particular module were higher than they were before. I could compare the data on it, and it showed that it worked.
Awesome. Yeah. That's great. Thanks for sharing. So we get as well the station rotation here on the slide. So we get group discussions, traditional station for face-to-face interaction. We get online quizzes, technology-based station for digital learning, and listening station, which is audio-based learning for language skills. So this is station rotation model. What is, I'm not really clear of what is all that.
Yeah, so what you can do as a teacher, before your class, you can put some tables into some groups. So when your class come in, the chairs and the tables all moved around, and there's like a station here, station A, and that might be for listening. So I've got some tablets set up with some earphones, and they'd have some listening tasks about the topic. Station 2 might be more about some kind of speaking thing. Station 3, there might be some kind of like short writing activities, for example. So there's different skills available on each station, and you get your students sat down, and they have, for example, 15 minutes on each station. After 15 minutes, they change to the new station. And by doing that, it's personalizing the learning. You're making sure that students who might enjoy writing a little bit better get the opportunity to do that task. And it's a kind of differentiation as well. You're differentiating the learning and providing support. It's just novel, different ways that we can approach education that really do work.
Great. Earlier, we had GF asking all level for kids. About flip. We were talking about the flip classroom. Age level for this, she was asking, some of my students are primary age level 6 and up. So I think it's all even possible to use flipped classroom in elementary school, especially if you have a few numbers of kids. You can give them some homework that maybe preview what they're gonna learn in class. It doesn't mean it's super complicated. No, it's easy. It's just preview.
You can absolutely do flip learning and blended learning with kids. You can, and you should. So for an example, let's give an example. So let's say you are teaching phonics. So you might, for example, go and buy some sandpaper and you make sandpaper letters. So sandpaper letters are really cool if you haven't used them. So you literally just cut out like a letter A of sandpaper, and in class the students trace the sandpaper A with their finger. It's very sensory. It helps them to learn the shape. It helps them to learn the order of the strokes to make the letter. These are sandpaper letters. Then the students go home and you give them a video. You give their parents to sit with them and support them. They might watch a video about the letter A. A is for apple, A is for ant. So you're supporting face-to-face learning in the classroom with the blended option with the parent support at home. That's just one example. You can definitely do blended learning with young children.
Yeah. I guess she's also pointing out the fact that students can be beautiful, fluent readers, but they don't understand what they're reading maybe sometimes. So it can be too difficult. And I know that some of the teachers, they use applications, they use apps. So they give us a link. I say us because my daughter is in grade 2. So they're giving us a link. I think I'm not sure what it is, but it's an app that is going to give you, you get images, and then you're going to have you have the audio and the word written, and then it's like Duolingo, pretty much. Yeah. So it's going to make your kids practice, even if kids don't understand. They're not going to come to you and say, "Dad, what does it mean?" Because they have that visuals in it. Visuals are super important. Help the kids understand. When they see an apple down there, you see apple, and the audio they can repeat, and so they are quite nice apps.
Yeah, there's Starfall has been one that I've used for years. I just starfall.com. It's free. They've got like a free section and a paid section if you want a little bit more of the resources. But these are interactive stories. They're leveled stories, so that students can choose the level that they would like, and they've things that they can click on. You've got sounds. The reading is supported by pictures and video, and you'll be surprised how intuitive some of these things. And kids are smart. They understand the gist of stories.
Oh yeah, kids knows what they're doing. They're used because it's pretty much when we were young, you and me, we had no screen. We had only one screen at home, and that was that TV that
Yeah.
was, well, it wasn't black and white. It was in color, but it's the evolution in education is incredible, and especially using that technology in the classroom is really important. And you will find out that some people will say, yeah, but kids, they don't know how to use your phone or use this. They can use it even better than
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just, if you let them with a phone, you don't need to teach them. They figure it out themselves.
There's been research. This is a little bit scary and perhaps a bit sad.
Yeah, it is.
But babies as young as 12 months understand how to swipe. It's been it's been tested with tablets. Kids they can swipe to the next thing at the age of 12 months.
Oh
Yeah,
my
so
God.
they do get it.
Yeah.
They do get it. Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter is 8 years old. I never gave her the phone except for like an hour or two maximum when you get, but she, because more you give them and you can see that addiction coming in
Mm, mm,
and they start to get really sad or stuff. But really it's very important as parents, even if they use it to study, it still has to be like an hour or two maximum, really maximum.
and
But for learning, I don't think they need to spend that much time because they're going to use this for us in my daughter's school for English especially, but for other subject, no, we never pretty much never use the phone except for watching a video or stuff like that.
yeah,
But yeah,
the truth is, as much as we may have resistance towards using screens, they're not going away. That's the truth of it. And if we take the moral
yeah,
stance, we can't give screens. There's no point because they're not going away, and kids will use them. It's important how they're used. So there's also been more research done. If students are left to do an educational task by themselves, if they use a tablet or the phone, they will give up first using the phone, and they can spend up to twice as long autonomously by themselves with the tablet. So, what does that suggest? It suggests that kids are more likely to spend more time and before they get distracted and bored if they use a tablet when learning. So, as teachers, if we can give them tablets rather than phones, that's the better outcome.
exactly. I completely agree with you. I heard from school because, well, we'll see that later. It's another topic will be interesting. Let's go on with, yes, online. Of course, we have online learning platform. They're versatile tools. Use platforms like Google Classroom or Moodle. And then resource sharing, assist task and provide learning materials online, progress monitoring, teacher track student progress through digital platforms.
Mm,
And and for me, in my class, I'm using a platform which is called VHL Central. I use this, it's a language platform, it's really, really awesome. You can, because when it was COVID, we had to teach, at home, and as well as French in my school it was just open. Before they were only Spanish and German, so French came up, and then they say, but we don't have the book. We have to wait, wait, wait. It's almost waiting 2 years now. So they said, you're going to use that platform on VHL Central. And it's really a very, very interesting platform. I could do a demonstration, but it's going to take too much time. But you can, like, check your students' what is it, performance.
Mm.
You know everything, how long they spent on it, when they started. If you give homework at home, you're going to see what they're doing because pretty much everything they have activities, that they can do at home, and they can as well listen. There's
Mm.
audio, there are videos, and it's all you can all assess them according to the weight, and then it can be a coursework, it can be formative, it can be summative. They're really doing a really good job about this. And there are a lot of platforms that doing good job. We're using as well Schoology,
Mhm.
but it's different. It's just more an inside. It cares about everything in the school. Roll call. Everything. Your roosters. It's more. It's bigger. But for
Mhm.
online language learning, they do provide French, they do provide Spanish, German, and it's really interesting. Some students say, yeah, it's cool because they can use a computer. I have students that they know how to use a computer only to play games, and
Yeah.
that's all. Sometimes I give them a computer to see what I give them an exercise in French. And I don't tell them that you do not have to you can't use a translator. I don't tell them, I don't talk about translators. And they're gonna come and ask me how to do this, teacher. I don't understand. What does it mean? I said, you have a computer in front of you. This is the window to the world. Your computer have all the answers you know, you for your questions. So go for it. They don't even know how to use translators or stuff like that.
Well, you raise a really good point here, Mike. What is education for? Why are we doing this? Who is it for? And we need to prepare young people for the wide world. We have to give them the tools and the skills to do this kind of research that you're talking about. We have to give them the methods that they're going to be able to use to do these tasks. And once we develop that in our students, and then they're able to be autonomous, go out there and do these kind of like flip learning tasks that we give them. And after a couple of weeks, they're used to it. They know how to do it. They've got the skills, the tools, and so they're going to do better at school. But also, they're going to be using skills that can transfer into the adult world. When they leave school.
It's true. I was taking the comment. Thank you so much for being so active today. I'm glad to see you all back. And we had DF asking, this platform allows you to differentiate for each students too? Yes. You can give individual work to the students. So if I can differentiate my classroom if I have students who are better. I mean, I have a student, she's just back from Cyprus, from Greece, and she's started to learn in China. I mean, China, for those who don't know. And then she's Chinese. She spent like, I think a good 10 years in Europe, perfect English, and her French is almost as perfect. And she's started to learn French when she was grade 4, right? Here in China, most people start to learn a second foreign language uh, after being graduated, after your bachelor degree. So that's all the students I have now. They're grade 10, 11, 12, international school, that most of the kids are pretty much aware how is foreign country because they want to go there. That's why they're international school. But it's incredible that, it's these students who are the advanced students in your class, you cannot they're going to do the exercise in 5 minutes. For the others, it's going to take them 14 minutes or an hour. So you got to give them like maybe individual work, or you can let them help others as well, so that they feel like, yeah, all right, they feel happy. They feel like, I say, you're my assistant, help her,
Yeah.
and then she's laughing, but she feels, happy. She wasn't as shy as she was before,
Yeah.
and feel maybe there's a sense for her to come to that class because I can see on her face, oh man, I know everything already. What am I doing here? Boring,
Yeah. And well, you're going to get those students who need to be challenged. They get bored. They enjoy English. They're good at it. And in the old days, they used to get exactly the same homework as everyone else. And what would happen? They would not, they'd rush through it in 5 minutes flat and then move to the next thing. But we're doing an injustice to students like that. And so we need to give them a little bit more. We need to challenge them. So the system that you have in your school there, Mike, it's an LMS, a learner management system. And there's lots of them that you can pick. Yeah, there's lots of them out there that you can pick. And like you say, you can assign homework. You can get information back about how much time that they're learning on particular apps, for example. And then you can adjust your teaching around it. But some other research that they found, some students were offered to do a test. They were said, right, you can do the easy one or you can do the more difficult one. And what they found is most of the students picked the more difficult one without being prompted. They just wanted to push themselves. So for students like the girl that you're talking about, you can actually, as part of the blended learning, you can give them something a little bit more challenging. Say, right, okay, that's your homework. If you want to, you can also do that. And what you'll find is that she will do that without you making her, because she just wants to.
Exactly, true. That's awesome. Thank you. Let's go on we're going to see now let me see, I'm going to change the slide. We're going to be talking about the advantages of blending learning, flexibility, right? Blended learning, it's really flexible. Students learn at their own pace. Engagement as well. Combination of activities increase motivation and personalization, tailored content for different learning levels. That's what we were just talking about with blended learning. It facilitates, engagement, flexibility, personalization, what we can call as well. We did some lives about it. Differentiation, if I get it right.
Yep. So you've got like different kind of things that you can do. There's so many different advantages for blending learning. It is more engaging. It's novel. You're giving students more encounters with vocabulary. So let's say we're teaching EFL, and it's been shown that you need as many encounters with vocabulary as you can to get it to stick. In the old way of teaching, students would only get those encounters in your classes face to face. But now we're giving the opportunity to get repeated encounters so they can recall it in their own time at home, at the weekend, in the evening. And then when they come into your class, there's a far greater chance that they will remember that vocabulary and be able to use it in meaningful exchanges.
Exactly. And then challenges or pros and cons is going to be the cons. We're going to see, it can be challenging sometimes to use blended learning in your class. Let me check out. Yeah. So blended learning technology dependence, right? Requires devices and stable internet, of course. Teacher training, of course, all teachers might be, especially when I started to use that VHL Central, I discovered because I had no one else who used that. So thanks that they have little videos so that I can check online. Uh, VHL Central has it inside it, so I learned by myself. But it takes time, right? And so you need skills to use digital tools effectively. I found out that I'm not using it, effectively sometimes because I'm learning by myself, and there are tips and tricks that I don't know. And that's the thing.
That's it. Teacher training is a big issue. Like, if you've never done this before and no one in your school has either, who will teach you what to do?
Exactly.
No one, right?
But I've been used to this kind of situation, figure it out all the time. That's when I arrive in China, throw me in the classroom, deal with these kids, teach them English, and I was like, how? I was like, how? So I had tough time figuring out everything, but now it's fine. Yeah. And then last part is time management. Yeah. Demands more planning and organization. Of course, it's changing a little bit your usual lesson plan. And it's true that I'm using blended learning every day. And it's true that sometimes, even if on my lesson plan I will use it at this time, sometimes I feel like, all right, you know what? Not using it now, but later.
Yeah.
Maybe not this class. Sometimes you feel it, because students are not machines, right? They're human. So you can feel it when it's not the time for that.
There's actually quite a lot of disadvantages with blended learning. It's like with the students, like as much as there is like lots of praise about AI and what it can do and it's going to change the world. To be honest, a lot of it is just marketing from the companies themselves, and it doesn't do what it promises. And the students, they really enjoy going on TikTok. They really enjoy playing games on their phone or their device, but they don't really enjoy learning on it. So that's the reality that teachers face. That's the real, what you're going to face as a teacher. And there's no getting around that. You just have to kind of develop tasks and work out what works and what doesn't. There's going to be a lot of trial and error. Also, equity with blended learning. We've seen that students are more engaged with it if they have a tablet than they have a phone. But what if you're from a low-income family and you can't afford a tablet? You're at a disadvantage. And there's the rich kids in the class, they're going to have a better experience than the poor kids. This is a fact. So there are disadvantages that we have to work around, but we'll slowly do it. The important thing is that teachers educate themselves. What is blended learning? How can I do it? If there's no one to train you, take it upon yourself to train yourself. So yeah, a lot of emphasis is on you to find the way.
Yes, exactly. Revenge time. Saying, I have some students who don't want to go through hard work and choose ready-made things created with the help of AI, like ChatGPT instead. Yeah. GF is saying, I'd like to create YouTube videos to teach vocabulary. I have multiple grade levels, so ideally, I'd like to use technology to save time in the classroom. I just need to coordinate with teachers.
Nice. Yeah, you have to. Yeah, I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
You can't kind of be like this rogue teacher that's the only person doing it in your school, right? You need support from the people, your colleagues, and you need support from management to be able to do this. So you have to collaborate and you have to talk about it.
You got to
understand it.
Exactly. And you got to ask teachers around you, because you never know. We mostly stay in our classroom and we don't go. You really have to ask help. Ask your colleagues, hey, what do you do when ask them. I'm sure they're going to be happy to help you, and you can have tips and tricks how to deal with this, and I'm sure it can be a good idea
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. Yeah, but I mean, JF, like creating your YouTube videos to teach vocabulary. This is the kind of thing that we can be doing, and it's fun. And it invigorates your own teaching style, so you're not going to stagnate. This is a big kind of topic that we've talked about on ESL live stream for a long time: avoiding stagnation, picking up new skills as teachers, picking up new tricks that we can use in the classroom. Yeah, just never stop learning yourself as well as a teacher. So try it, make these YouTube videos, and you'll quickly find that it's not that hard, and it's a great thing for you to do for your students.
Exactly. I was checking. Thank you, everyone, for saying. Let's see the last slide where we're going to see implementing blended learning. So, how to implement it into your classroom. So you can use it, but you got to start small. Begin with a single blended element. And then second, you use simple tools, utilize easy to use platform initially, especially for your students as well. You are not the only one who's going to use that tool, but also your students. So think about very important thing. If it's easy, friendly use, then get feedbacks regularly from your students, right? And use clear structure for all competence. About staying organized is very important. All these steps, you can use it step by step, slowly, and as well feedback. Ask your students, do you like it? Do you like that game? Do you like it or not? What do you think? What happened? Was it difficult? Why it was difficult? Why you didn't do it? You think it was boring, or is it because something just bothered you on the way? So, there are tons of apps, tons of little stuff, just like a leaderboard, for example. You can start with just a funny, awesome leaderboard. Kids give a good answer, boom, you give them points, or very fancy leaderboard looking like, and they're gonna like it.
Yeah.
But they're not gonna like it the whole school year, believe me. they get bored quickly. But sometimes once, they're gonna ask, hey teacher, where's the leaderboard? We used to have points on it. Because I didn't keep on using it,
Yeah, so
because
that's what you
I
didn't
could
like.
see that they wouldn't caring much about it.
Yeah. But I mean, like, so real ways that you can do blended learning. Let's say you're teaching young children, you're teaching them colors. They can show you things that are blue in your classroom, things that are red in your classroom, and then when they go home, they can, with the help of the parents, they can make short videos about things that are blue or red in their house. So you're connecting learning at school with the home, and just make sure that any videos that you get, they go onto the learner management system. They're not on WhatsApp or whatever, so it's all nicely controlled, and with safeguarding issues and everything. And yeah, just there's so many different things that you can do. You just have to really think outside the box. I mean, you can go onto ChatGPT and you can say, right, give 20 blended learning ideas for 5-year-olds. And in seconds, you're going to get 20 amazing ideas that you can use blended learning with 5-year-olds in your class with your kids, or teenagers, or university students, or business students, adult students, whatever. There's so many ways that you can use tech to work for you as a teacher and to work for your students.
Exactly. And these days I've been using, let me see, we don't need more, right? I've been using Kahoot. Kahoot changed a lot. It's not only that game that everybody could play all together. Now, on Kahoot, you can create slides. You get a slides in your Kahoot quiz. So that engage. This is a good example of how to engage your students in your classroom. I've been trying that because now I'm a Kahoot creator. I was looking at Kahoot and I found out that they have a and learning experience as well, more interesting, more students get engaged without problem, even with the students I get at school. All right, so you get slides where you get this on your screen and then you can start to teach, right? You get this on it doesn't mean you have to sit on your chair and look at the Kahoot you guys play and then you just being a commentator, right? Or the host. But no, you can stand near that slide and then you explain. You can even switch to another stuff, but make sure all your students are in the Kahoot. They scan that code, so they because the next slide might be a quiz to see if they understand what was the previous slide, right? And then they're gonna stay in it because they like Kahoot. Uh, there's not I've never found another more interesting. Well, there are other, like some students told me, yeah, how about there are a lot of what is it called, blue cat, other stuff. The thing is now with the I'm not how to say, I'm not just saying Kahoot is, I'm not doing promotion for Kahoot. It's working in the classroom. So why don't you use it, right? And so you can do slides. That's what is changing inside of your quiz. So that's really interesting. And then even after you finish your quiz, you can, they have AI who can create a Kahoot really quickly. So that's impressive. You get quizzes, you get not only quizzes, I can remember, you can, even for math teachers, it's really, really useful. And the very important thing is not, like I was saying earlier, playing a Kahoot and you don't care. No, they have reports, so you can check out all your students. That's what I do. When I finish my slides with their answer, okay, their understanding during class, the slide is going to take, it's not going to take that long, it's going to take maybe 5-10 minutes for, the other day I used it with teaching sounds in French. So they were staying, they were engaged, and then they were wondering who was number one, number two, number three at the end, they were looking at that podium. Then I turn into reports to check, because I can check some students. You can check if a lot of them, some of them didn't answer, and I point at them. Hey, you guys were playing, huh? Winner, chicken dinner, guys. What was that? You were playing PUBG. So it's really, really interesting. But most of them had one or two students, but most of them they were really playing it. They were really in it. They were listening, because of, after the slide, there's that question. I want to be number one, So it was a good way. And you can add audio as well. It's incredible what you can do now on Kahoot. It's not just the simple quiz you answer. They have a lot of stuff in it. This is really, really impressive.
Yeah, that's very, very cool. I'll give that a go. I've not really used Kahoot that much, but yeah.
Yeah, it's we are from that generation where you get that transition, right? Especially in China, it wasn't really in the in that technology. But if you want, guys, you can go and check out. I got a Mike's Home ESL Kahoot channel. So I created 146 Kahoot. I do have French as well. If you want to learn French, guys, I started as well on another YouTube channel. Yes, when I'm not doing lives, I'm working as well. I'm working on the channel. I'm working in the back. You can't do everything, right? Doing lives and working, it's really difficult. For the French, I get this Kahoot here is for French, so you can teach. I'm using for French class. I'm using VHL Central, and so into this. I'm using the different part of the book that we're learning, which is Chemin 1, Path 1. So they have different parts in each lesson. For each lessons, you can find a Kahoot that can be a slide that you can use in your class to teach, or that can be for them to review the vocabulary, or that can be only audio quiz so that they listen and then they answer, because most problem we have with Kahoot is that you don't have sound, right? You could have videos, but they still, you can put videos now pretty much to each questions if you want. After, it's a matter of upgrading your account. But I think it's a very interesting blended learning in the way that you can control. And it's not for the point of playing only, you know. So you can check out their work because they love to be uh, what is it, on their laptop playing. And there's not only the usual answer with the different colors that we have from Kahoot, right? They create games where kids are answering themselves. I mean, it's individual. So these ones are even more interesting because you can really check each individual, because I can see them sometimes, when they play Kahoot, they look at the other guy. What did he choose? Yeah, he chose the green one. Oh, okay, good. No, so individual would be really is really awesome. So, and when kids, each student, so and they're gonna play that game on your board, on you are the host, right? So on your screen, you're gonna see them. You can only see a robot running after some little people. So what they have to do is answering as much questions as they can to have boosts so that they can run quickly and not being eaten by the robots. So I found out some stuff really, really interesting now on Kahoot.
So you can kind of like gamify the learning. So like you've said, that the kids have got to answer questions in French, or if you make it answer questions in English, and the more they answer, the faster they run, and then they don't get eaten by the robots. So you're making learning fun, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's Kahoot is. I know it was fun for reviewing. Maybe when you get a big review, you can use it. Because sometimes it can take a lot of time. But these games you can set up the time, so you get 5 minutes. And then when you finish all these games, whatever you play on Kahoot, they created, it's a beta version, but they created like your island. Every time you play, you are building your island. So you get rewards. For example, oh, you've played this game. Oh, today you had 60% good answers. So your island is growing. So that engage students even more, because at the end of the game, you can claim your gifts.
That sounds very,
So
very cool.
I was really impressed by what Kaut is doing about it these days, and yeah, that's definitely playing with it, and we'll see where it lives. But I can already see results because there's one thing as well which I forgot to mention, which is really important, is that when you finish one of your quiz of Kahoot, according to the percentage of good and wrong answer, Kahoot is going to ask you to you can choose another. It's going to create another quiz with the most difficult question that where the kids didn't answer well. So that's also really interesting. You can go on and, for example, even with your slides, when you start to teach, then you go with a couple of questions, right? That when you finish teaching, you can see which students didn't understand which part of your presentation. So that really tailors your work towards towards students. So you can if students have difficulties, you can see it right away, because sometimes that's the thing. Some students need help, and you don't see that. This is what troubles me a lot.
Yeah,
That's what I'm mostly afraid of.
that's the thing. I mean, you've got students that don't understand, but often if they're quiet, you might
Yeah.
assume that they understand, but actually they don't. So this is really good for assessment purposes as well. But Revenge Time brings up a really good point. So there's loads of professional teachers out there, but they stick to using the grammar translation method more. Why is that? It's because they're used to it, and they are perhaps intimidated or frightened about trying blended learning or trying flip learning or trying Kahoot. But
Mhm.
you don't have to jump in the deep end. You can take it in baby steps. So pick a lesson, go through your book, and go, right, okay, in 1 unit's time, we're going to be learning about whatever you're learning about in the next unit. Right, I'm going to do blended learning in that lesson. Now, what can I do?
Yeah.
And just try it out in a very small scale way and build your own confidence and expertise. And then after successes or failures, you can learn from that, try again, and then very quickly you're going to become an expert of blended learning.
And the thing is, tools. There are so many tools around us, and we mostly don't know how to use them.
Yeah,
It's just like AI.
yeah. You have to either, if there's no one to teach you, take it upon yourself to teach yourself. Like you can do join a webinar, sign up for a webinar on how to do blended learning. It's free. Just put in your email, sit there, get be a part of the webinar, build up your skills. It's so valuable.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Stu. Was a very interesting subject today, blended learning. I think it's a subject that we can't stop talking as well. Maybe we would be able to invite a professional, I mean, an expert in blended learning. I've seen Mr. Michael B. Horn I was invited him for today. Of course, it's not easy, but he's someone who is very advanced and someone very interesting to be with, to learn from, and hope is going to come maybe for next week. We'll see. Maybe next week can be another topics. Thank you to all of you for watching tonight. It was awesome. Finally back. Thank you, Stu.
No
Always
problem at all.
happy to see you.
It's good to be back. Yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah. Yes. And maybe we'll be here next week. Yeah.
I
Of
would love
course.
that. Yeah, and if Michael can make it, I can learn from Michael. Yeah, he's the pro. I am the apprentice. It's always good to learn from better people.
All right. Don't forget as well as to follow Stu on YouTube. His channel is here. So, any new videos coming up?
Yeah. So do you know what? I might make one about blended learning. How about that? And yeah, put that on. I'm trying to chase 6,000 subscribers. I'm stuck on 5,000 something. So if anyone's here is watching, please go to my channel and subscribe and try and push me towards 6,000. That would be great.
That's awesome. Feel free, everyone, go to Stu's channel. Feel free, no, just run and subscribe, please. Everything all right about your course? You gotta know that Stu has an awesome TEFL course for those who don't know. But I know that IBDSM knows. She was here earlier.
The
Very
course
nice person.
The course is going great. We've had over 1,000 teachers now that have trained with us.
Wow, that's incredible.
Ibtism, who's been with us, and she's currently on Unit 15, I think, which is all about how to teach online. So she'll be learning about how to teach online in that unit. But yeah, and I'm adding to it all of the time. So if a new breakthrough comes, I add to it. Like I've just added a lot to Unit 7 about using technology in teaching. There's tons of stuff about AI in there. So the course is continually improving. So yeah, check it out.
Thank you so much, Stu, for your expertise today, and hope to see you next week. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget to give some likes to help the stream. Of course, subscribe to both Michael and Devil Lemon YouTube channel, and we will see you in another live. That was the ESL live stream. Your teacher's live stream. See you soon.
See you later. Bye for me. Bye.